Hey Sandra, are you there? I just want to let you know that I told my mom the dates that we figured out for our wedding. And I showed her some of the pictures that we took when we went out to check out the venue.
Oh, okay, good to know. What did your mom think? Did she have anything to say?
Oh, you know how she is always. She just said that's nice and continued about her business.
I see. So basically we got nothing from that. Are you sure your mom approves of us getting married?
Sure she does. I mean, I know that if you think about it, I am pretty sure my mom is okay with this. Or at the very least, even if she isn't thrilled about it, I don't think that she's against it or anything, especially since before she was always bugging me about when I'd get married. So I don't actually think she'd complain to me now that I actually am.
Guess so, but I certainly get the impression that I'm not the kind of person she imagined marrying you.
I know that you think that, but what is it that you think my mom doesn't like about you?
I think it's because my family came from the country, and I guess your mom might think that I'm a hick or something like that.
I mean, you could be right about that, but I don't see anything wrong with that, and I actually really like your family. Both of your parents have been so nice and welcoming to me, and I'm really grateful for it. The only one to be complaining about any of this at all is my mom.
Oh, well, I really am glad that you like my parents that much. I know that both my parents are big fans of you as well. And I think that my family has plenty to offer and can't just be written off for where they come from. But I just wish that there was a good way to make your mom see all of this.
Well, I can try talking to her and really explaining just how good your family really is. But just know that no matter what she says, I'm still marrying you.
And that makes me really happy to have you say that, but I still wish that your mom wouldn't act like this. I mean, I'm about to marry her son, and it feels like she doesn't want me to.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think we need to give my mom time to get to know you better. Then she'll see how good you are for me and what a good couple we are. I know that she'll come around, so just be patient and focus on the wedding for now. You know, I still feel so lucky to have you in my life, Sandra. I mean, I really can't think of anyone else who I'd like to spend my life with. Not only that, but you really are just so beautiful. I could just spend all day staring into your big, gorgeous eyes.
What is all this about? Do you really like looking at me that much, Anthony?
Of course I do. I love you, and I really like your family as well. I've enjoyed the times that we've spent to visit with your parents. They are always eating the freshest foods straight from their garden and even send us home with some stuff. I mean, what could there even be to dislike about that? Especially when the quality of the food that they're giving us is the kind that we'd have to shell out extra for in a normal grocery store.
I have to say that I was pretty surprised by just how much you seemed to like being out there. But only in a good way. I was just happy that you weren't judging my family at all. After all, your mom isn't the only person to look down on me for where my family is from.
Well, I don't think that way in the slightest, but it is true that I don't have a single relative that lives the way that your parents do. So maybe that's why ever since I was little, I've dreamed about living on a big farm or ranch, just to be able to escape the hustle and bustle and noise of the city. When you come home, sound is so nice. But my mom is just the opposite. I think that back in her day, kids from the farm were bullied and looked down on more than our generation.
Well, you know that it's not all beautiful sunsets and fresh produce, right? I mean, out there, there's also lots of bugs and pests, and there's hardly anything to do in town, too.
I know, but it's not like you're bringing any of those negatives from the countryside with you when you visit my mom. But also, your brother is taking over the family farm anyways, right? Not only that, but your parents also said that when they retired, they were going to settle into a retirement home. Isn't that right?
That's what they said. They have a decent amount saved up over the years and said they didn't want to be a burden on us kids.
And I've tried explaining all that to my mom as well, but no matter how many times I try to tell her, she just doesn't seem to get it.
Well, I don't think that your mom's dislike for the country comes from any real logic or good reason. I think maybe she was just raised a different way and hasn't gotten over her biases.
I guess, but I think that we should let her get away with that just because she's older. But also at this point, I just hope that she won't make any trouble for us in the future. Especially considering that my mom is basically only going to have her pension to live off. So when she finally settles down, I think that the duty of taking care of her is going to fall on me. I mean, of course I have my sister as well, but as the eldest child, I think it'll mostly be my job.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. But that would mean that I would also be taking care of her, right?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't hope that you would leave me to do it all by myself, but yes, I think that's the situation.
Of course not. I'd love to help out in any way that I can. I just hope that your mom and I can become closer before that happens.
Well, thanks again so much for talking to me about this. I'll think of what I can try to say to Mom, but I just don't know what to do these days.
I understand, but the most important thing for me right now is trying to become closer to her. I mean, I know that we'll all have a long time to do so since you and I are getting married, but still.
I know what you mean, and I really am sorry that this is even an issue in the first place, but I just hope that Mom actually liked the venue I showed her. I told her about how the catering company we were looking at had some of her favorite dishes, but she just gave me the same stoic response.
Yeah, that woman really is inscrutable, but hopefully with time we can see more eye to eye.
Hey there, Sandra. I just wanted to let you know that I tried talking to my mom.
Oh no, it doesn't sound like you're about to tell me very good news.
Well, it's actually about the day of the wedding. My mom wants me to go and pick up my grandparents and bring them here.
Wait, what? I thought you said that your sister was going to be doing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to, but I guess that her car broke down the other day, and it won't be repaired in time before the wedding.
Oh no, that really sucks. Tell her that I'm sorry that that happened, but I still don't get why you would have to go. I mean, it's literally your wedding day, and it's probably best if we just stick close to the venue, don't you think? Besides, will you even have the time to be able to go and get them?
Well, my mom was saying that the groom really doesn't have all that much of a role in the wedding until the very end, so I guess she really wants me to go and get my grandparents.
I can understand that, but it doesn't mean that there aren't things that you need to do to get ready for when I walk down the aisle. And what happens if you get caught in traffic while you're out? What would we do then?
I've been thinking about that as well, but my mom really insistent about this. She really said that she wanted me to spend more time with my grandparents and that I should be trying to make good final memories with them.
I mean, it's not that I don't respect the sentiment or anything, but shouldn't there be other memories that you try and make on the day of your wedding?
Sandra, you and I are absolutely on the same side with all of this, but I just couldn't turn down my mom. She just kept asking me over and over again.
I see. Well, I guess it sounds like you're going to pick up your grandparents then.
I really did try and tell my mom that it wouldn't work. I told her that I'd be too busy to do that, and then my mom told me that I was being ungrateful for all the good things that my grandparents did for me. She kept getting more angry and upset with me, and she kept making me feel bad about not doing it, that eventually I just folded.
Oh wow, I'm really sorry to hear that, Anthony. I hope she wasn't too upset with you.
I mean, it had been a while since I saw her get worked up like that, I think. But man, it was more annoying than anything. It's that she refuses to accept that I'm an adult with my own life and responsibilities now. But I didn't want to tell her now and have her in a sour mood on the day of our wedding either. So anyways, I'm just sorry about all of this.
You don't have anything to apologize for. I mean, none of this is your fault anyways. And besides, you're right about it being a good idea to try and make sure your mom is happy the day of our wedding.
I just want the wedding to go smoothly and as little drama as possible. It's too important a day to let these petty gripes ruin it. But I just don't get it. I mean, I'm still living at home with her. So why are we going to the wedding separately in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I'm sure that your mom has her reasons, and it's not like you don't have two cars, so I guess it doesn't not make sense. But just please try and be quick about getting your grandparents and coming back, okay?
Of course, I would really hate for anything to delay you and I getting married. I promise that I'll do my best to not be late, okay?
And tell your parents that I'm sorry for all the rushing that they'll probably be doing on that day as well.
Well, I think that it's my mom who owes them an apology for deciding all of this, but I'm sure that it'll be fine.
I'm just glad that you guys have two cars to be dealing with all of this. I guess that means that you'll take the big car and I'll take the smaller one with your mom?
Sounds good, but I really am sorry for all this. I'm pretty upset at my mom for putting this in my lap at the last second. Our wedding should be a day where we only think of each other.
I know, but I'm sure that your mom has her reasons for this as well. And at the end of the day, it sounds like she's trying to bring the family closer together, so I can't fault that.
You really are too kind. Do you know that, Sandra? You don't deserve to have your wedding day messed up like this either. But man, my mom can get a bit scary when she gets angry about stuff like this.
It's okay. I think I've gotten used to the idea of her acting like this for now. Hello there, Anthony. I don't know if you've heard, but your wedding is canceled.
Mom, what are you talking about? What do you mean my wedding is canceled?
I know that Sandra isn't going to be showing up to the wedding. You see, she was in a car accident and now she can't even move. So I'm afraid that you two will just have to cancel your wedding, but how about we go out for a family lunch instead?
Hold on a second. Just what do you think you're doing, messaging me on a day like this? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think I am? I think that I'm your mother, so how about that?
Oh, really? Because I don't think of you as a mother at all. So how about that?
What in the world are you talking about, Anthony? What has gotten into you?
I mean, that I know that you messed with the car that Sandra was going to take. And anyone who would do that to my wife is no family member of mine.
I have no idea what you're talking about at all.
Oh, come on. I know that you sabotaged the car that Sandra took. She even told me that. You said you'd just take a taxi to the venue at the last second. And now you pretend like nothing has happened? You just want to go out for a family lunch? Are you that opposed to me getting married?
Anthony, I'm sorry, but I really have no idea what's gotten into you or why you're so upset right now.
Oh, just give it a rest, Mom. I know that it was you that did it. Just be honest with me.
I am being honest with you, and I am telling you that I have no idea what you're talking about. Why should I be against you marrying Sandra? Oh, wait, that's right. It's because I know what's best for you, and I can tell you that it certainly isn't her.
Aha. So you do admit that you really are against us getting married, but you really don't know what you're talking about, because I'm the one that doesn't deserve Sandra. And the only person in our whole family who has a problem with her is you. But even so, I didn't think that you'd go so far as to try to sabotage a car that Sandra would drive on the street. You caused this accident.
Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. How can you accuse me of causing the accident? I wasn't the one behind the wheel. Do you have any proof of what you're saying? Hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear from me, Sandra. And yes, if you must know, I have plenty of evidence. I even have someone that you confessed thinking of this plan to. Wait, Sandra? How can this be? What's going on? You made it to the wedding? I had to call a taxi, but yes, I made it to my own wedding despite your best attempts to stop me. As for you, well, I think you can probably already imagine the kind of car trouble I was having before it stopped moving. But you do realize that you've committed a crime, right? Neither of you know what you're talking about at all. It wasn't like that. I didn't do anything. Look, I get that you really, really don't like me, but you didn't have to take things this far. Shut up! You don't get to tell me what to do! You think that a country hick like you can just waltz into my family? And just what about where I come from upsets you so much? How does my coming from the country even affect you? It affects me because I know that you joining my family means that your lousy hick parents are going to try and steal everything. You are literally the only person saying any of these things about my parents. I mean, even Anthony's grandparents say that they really like me and don't care at all about my background. Well, I don't care. I don't want a lousy daughter-in-law like you, got it? Besides, I know for a fact that my daughter hates you. No, you're not right about that either. Anthony's sister is actually completely supportive. Well, that can't be right. She talks bad about you all the time. She says that she can't stand the idea of you becoming her sister-in-law. Oh, she may have thought that, but that was only because you were giving her faulty information. But Anthony and I have made sure to clear up any misunderstandings you might have been causing. It was your sister, wasn't it? She was the one who told you about what I did to the car, didn't she?
That's right. Actually, she arrived about the same time that Sandra did to the wedding venue. She showed her some of the texts that you've been sending, talking about all your plans.
I don't believe it. Betrayed by my own child. I really thought that I could trust her with that.
Come on, did you really think that anyone would be okay with a plan like this? If you actually thought that anyone would back up this horrible behavior that you've been exhibiting, then that's on you. In fact, you complain so much about Sandra, but the fact is, you've never given her a fair chance.
No, You don't know what you're talking about. Can't you see that she's just fooling you? She doesn't have your best interests at heart. You don't know anything at all. I am your mother and I know best.
No, Mom. You're the one who's completely clueless about everything, and you certainly don't know what you're talking about when it comes to Sandra. All you do is focus on the fact that her family lives out in the country. But if anyone should be embarrassed about their families, then I'm the one that should be embarrassed to be related to you.
Anthony, how could you say that to your own mother? What is the matter with you?
I'm only telling you how I really feel. I mean, what if Sandra had seriously been injured? Thankfully, there wasn't any real accident. Sandra realized her car wasn't performing well, put on her hazards, and pulled over right away. But if she hadn't thought on her feet so quickly, she could have ended up hurt or dead. Is that what you wanted to happen to the woman I want to marry?
Of course not. That's not what I wanted to happen at all. I didn't know what might happen.
But that's just another lie. I've already seen the text, and you said that you don't care at all what happens to Sandra. You're nothing but a liar and a criminal, Mom.
But Sandra's safe, isn't she? I don't see what the big deal is if nothing actually happened to her.
If you think that you're going to get away with that just because Sandra wasn't hurt, you're dead wrong. I am never ever going to forgive you for this. Do you understand?
Please, son, I really don't think there's any need to be so upset with me. I mean, you just got married. A newlywed husband shouldn't have anything to be mad about. Oh, can't we just forgive each other in the spirit of the day?
Oh, I don't think you need to worry about our wedding day anymore. After all, you won't be participating. Even though you would have been here as my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law? Wait a second, is this Sandra?
That's right. Now about that little trap you tried to set for me. Well, I just have to say, I was shocked when I pieced it all together.
What do you mean? Oh, what's going on? What did you mean about me not participating in the wedding?
We talked to all the guests at the wedding here, and we agreed that it's best if you don't come. Even Anthony's grandparents agreed on that, so we're not going to let you show up, even if you do come. We've even told the staff to turn you away if you try and get in.
What are you talking about? You can't do this to me. You can't just keep me out of my own son's wedding.
Why? You never even wanted this wedding to take place in the first place, so why should we let you participate?
Oh, come on. You can't keep me away from this. This is my own son's wedding. You can't ban me from that.
Do you think that we're going to let you into a wedding where you tried to kill the bride? In fact, you should know that Anthony is never going to talk to you again. He has nothing but shame as far as you're concerned.
But, oh, this isn't fair. I was only trying to protect my family. I did it all for my family. How did it all come to this?
If you really can't understand why your own family wouldn't want anything to do with you after this, then maybe you really are too far gone. Because you need to understand that you tore your own family apart. I've done nothing but try to befriend you, and you literally tried to kill me. So I am really not in the mood to hear any of your victimization coming from you after this. Neither Anthony nor I are ever going to forgive you.
You can't do this to me. You're not just going to leave me like this, right? Oh, please. My family is all that I have left. Who's going to take care of me now? Hello? Are you even reading these messages? Hello? After that, Anthony's mom didn't even bother trying to come to our wedding, and thanks to her absence, we were all able to have a much, much better wedding than had she been there. If only we had thought to ban her from the wedding in the first place. Of course, Anthony was really upset about what his mother had tried to do to me, and I know it hurt him to realize the kind of person she was. A few days later, we got messages from relatives of Anthony all bearing words of encouragement and criticism for his mom. Many said they were going to keep their distance from Anthony's mother or cut her off entirely like we had done. Either way, she was left with very few relatives who were even willing to talk to her. Of course, I don't imagine that she's reflected on why what she did was wrong, but she certainly suffered for what she tried to do to me, and I do my best to not even think about her anymore. Anthony and I have been far too busy enjoying the married life. I thought this whole episode would be a good obstacle to our honeymoon phase, but if anything, the absence of Anthony's mom has only been a positive for us. We've even gotten closer with Anthony's sister, who was so sorry for believing all the lies that her mother had told her about me before discovering the truth. So I guess in the end, the only real loser was my would-be mother-in-law.
I'm in trouble. Hey, there's a guy at my house right now, a friend of yours. Oh, that's Jeffrey. He's my friend. He just called me and we're going to have a drink after a long time. I'm still working and won't be home for another 2 hours, and Jeffrey's already on his way. I told him to go home first. Huh? If that's the case, you should have called me first. I can't let someone I don't know come to my house. Anyway, I told him to come back when you get back, so he went home. What the hell is that? That's so rude. I've texted you, telling you that my friend is coming before Jeffrey got to her house. I didn't receive that one. You should check it again. I'm sure that I sent it. I checked it already, but I really haven't received your message. You must be mistaken. You should double check. Gosh. Seems that there was a transmission error when I sent that. See? You didn't send it. But when Jeffrey told you that he's a friend of mine, it's your job as my wife to shut up and entertain him. That's not very nice. You sent him home without even offering him a cup of tea. You're useless. I don't even know him. What if he's a criminal who pretended to be your friend? What if he does something nasty to me? How could anyone do that? I don't think Jeffrey would harm you, Rose. You are too self-conscious. Are you telling me that I'm worse than you, who forgot to let me know that your friend was coming? Think about it. Why didn't you just ask him to show you the conversation on his phone? That way you would have known we were friends, right? See? That's easy. I thought so too. I told him that too, but he said that he forgot his phone and wouldn't let me see it. If there was no way to check whether he was your friend or not, there was nothing I could do. Even after that, my husband kept complaining to me for a while. His friend also treated me as if I were a devil's wife. Jeffrey forgot that my husband made a mistake by not texting me before he came to our house. Both of them blamed me, as if I was the only one at fault. No matter how much I was blamed, I could not trust my husband's friend. I just could not trust him in any way. No matter if my husband has given his permission, I don't think it's a good idea to visit a newlyweds when the wife is all alone in the house. Also, what everyone shouldn't forget is, my husband said that Jeffrey is already on his way. Then why didn't Jeffrey have his cell phone with him? I wonder how he communicated with my husband. I felt some kind of unexplainable fear. That's why I decided to go back to my parents' house. Then, I received a message from my husband, who was in a panic when he came home from work. Where are you now? What the hell do you think you're doing, leaving me like this? You have no reason to be upset. I was the one who texted you to let you know that my friend was coming, so why are you the one who's still mad at me all this time? Are you listening to me? I told you the other day I didn't get a message. You said there was a transmission error. Don't forget it just for your own convenience. That's why I called you, didn't I? I was trying to make sure that you're okay. You called me? I didn't get that. There you go. You're so full of it. I didn't hear it. I didn't get it. You just forget about it, didn't you? Then why were you trying to text me? You couldn't call me, so you decided to text me, didn't you? I did what I was supposed to do, Rose. You keep telling me about that and you never listen to me. I thought that when we got married, you'd think a little more about me. I was wrong. I've had enough. You just keep one-sidedly bad-mouthing me for selfish reasons. But you can't prove I didn't contact you, can you? Huh? There's no record of text or missed call from you, Kenny. Think about it. How can someone that can be easily erased like that be proof? You're too self-aware. Nobody's after you. That's not what this is about. Yeah, okay. Seems like you're not going to apologize to me. Why should I apologize? You're the one who's sorry, right? I didn't do anything wrong. Then fine, I won't even talk to you. I'm thinking about a divorce. That's what I'm gonna do. Hey, you think you can talk to me so selfishly like that? What the hell do you want? What's your purpose? I beg your pardon? I don't trust you anymore. That's why I said I want a divorce. I don't understand why you're blaming me when I didn't do anything wrong. That's why I told you that my friend, Jeffrey, was going to visit our house. You see, this just keeps going back and forth, so I don't want to talk about it anymore. Even if you did text me, why would you call your friend when you're not home? Because Jeffrey said that he didn't have a place to wait. A place to wait, huh? What a lame excuse. There are plenty of places to wait, such as restaurants and so on. Isn't that crazy? Coming all the way to our house when I was the only one there. Don't say bad things about my friend. Okay, let's say I let your friend come inside. What do you want me and your friend to do? You can just prepare dinner or something, like what everyone does when they have a guest coming to the house. Just serve tea and snacks to him, let him watch TV and make him feel like home. You want me to cook dinner for a stranger? Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's not that hard, is it? That's what a wife is supposed to do. Likewise, if my friend came over, would you serve her dinner? I would if she's your friend. I'll say serve her tea too. Then what if that friend of mine is actually a criminal who just lied to you? You don't have to worry about that. You've never had a friend visiting you in the first place. Anyway, do you really have a friend? That means when the person says that she's your friend, I'll know right away that she's trying to deceive me. Kenny, do you realize that you're contradicting yourself? Huh? I'm just stating about the common sense. You're just being too logical and difficult. Also, you're trying so hard to justify yourself. No, I think I'm just talking plain and simple. That's your common sense. I'm different from you and I'm not that complicated. Then divorce me because I can't be with someone who doesn't value my common sense. Huh? Why are you talking like that? That's so extreme. If that's the way you're talking right now, then yes. But divorce over something like this is overreacting, right? You should think twice. I thought so too. We'd get into trouble over something as trivial as this, you know? I can't continue our marriage to someone I can't have a proper conversation with. I'll report this to your parents too. You think you can do such a selfish thing? I'll forgive you now, so don't make any more trouble and come back. Forgive me? I'm not going back to our house. You have until tomorrow to decide whether you're going to apologize or divorce me. If you don't apologize, let's have a divorce. That's right. I just remembered. Jeffrey was at our wedding. What? What are you talking about out of the blue? We knew each other. He was at our wedding, so he knew you too. That's why he wasn't a stranger. What do you think you're talking about, Kenny? Do you know how many friends you invited to our wedding? There were a lot of people and most of them were your colleagues. How could I remember the face of someone I met only once at the wedding? Don't be so heartless. Jeffrey was there to celebrate our marriage. Do you remember the faces of even one of my friends? Would you recognize them if you saw them on the street? What's wrong? Did you just ignore me because you don't remember any of my friends? Are you just going to forget every single thing that you think is inconvenient for you? Jeffrey is really my friend. Even if I did remember him, it doesn't mean that Jeffrey is my friend, okay? We have never talked to each other. I don't want to spend a few hours alone with a stranger. I don't care even if you ask me to do it for your sake. He's a friend of mine. Why can't you just be nice to him for my sake? If you can't even do that, that's very selfish of you. It's okay that this time it was a friend, but what if the person was my boss? That could affect my promotion. Can you take responsibility if I don't get promoted for the rest of my life because of you? Isn't that the worst thing you could do as a wife? Okay, let's say that the person was a criminal. If I got killed because I invited him in, can you take the responsibility for that? Kenny didn't reply to me. Well, I guess he can't answer that because he has never thought about that possibility. Seems like the divorce is not moving forward. Maybe I should ask for a lawyer. The next day, I looked at my cell phone during my part-time job lunch break. I got a long message from Kenny. I didn't even want to read it. Although the content was in the form of an apology, the message was full of excuses and condescending. No matter how hard I tried, I could not forgive him. One thing that bothered me was that his friend Jeffrey said he wanted to apologize to me. I was thinking about why Jeffrey wants to go through the trouble of meeting me. I felt that something was not right. I wanted to set up a meeting with an attorney to discuss the divorce matter. I contacted my husband but did not receive a response. Then, on the weekend, my husband suddenly came to my parents' house with Jeffrey. When they came, my younger brother and his wife Megan were there. My parents were out. So the five of us, my husband, Jeffrey, my younger brother, and his wife, decided to have a discussion. There was no apology from my husband and Jeffrey. The discussion remained at a standstill. It didn't make any sense. I wondered what they came here for. In the end, I decided to hire an attorney. I asked my husband and Jeffrey to leave that day. Later that day, I was told an unbelievable fact by a certain person. What are you waiting for? All you have to do is get a divorce. You're the one who made things so complicated. What's wrong with you all of a sudden? This is between me and Kenny. It's none of your business, Megan. Of course, it's also my business. I want to marry Kenny as soon as possible. Seriously, what are you talking about? You are my brother's wife. I found out when I visited your house last time. I realized that I was married into this family to meet Kenny. I felt like it was my destiny to be together with him. You're also insensitive, aren't you? Kenny is very fond of me, so he's mine already. He said he'd remarry me as soon as he divorces you. Just go ahead and tell Kenny is not at fault. Well, he doesn't love you anyway. Then you can get a divorce with a clear mind, right? Kenny may feel refreshed, but I don't. If he doesn't love me, then why is he arguing about the divorce? He can just do it straight away if he wants to. Kenny is a smart guy. If he admits that he's at fault, he'll have to pay alimony, right? He said he doesn't want that to happen. That's not smart. That's just being petty. So since he doesn't want to pay for alimony, he's just going to keep on complaining. I'm appalled. What about Jeffrey then? It's just not right that he keeps popping up multiple times. He has nothing to do with this, so why is he acting like he's a part of this matter? I'll tell you what I think. Jeffrey loves you. Huh? He fell in love with you when he saw you at the wedding. But he gave up on you because you're his friend's wife. But when he and Kenny were having a drink together, Kenny told him that he wanted to divorce you. When he heard that, Jeffrey's love for you had got stronger than before. I'm happy for you. So you and my husband took advantage of that. Well, that's what it comes down to, but it doesn't matter, does it? The truth is that the day Jeffrey went to your house, I got proof of the affair and tried to use it for the divorce. But Jeffrey chickened out at the last minute. Since you turned him away, the whole plan got screwed up. You're just playing hard to get. Do you even know what you're talking about? You're saying that you're trying to take advantage of your own friend. That's very inhuman. It's okay because nothing happened, right? It would have been fun if something had happened. That's not the point. Do you even care about other people's life? If that had happened, Jeffrey would have been arrested by the police. Kenny told Jeffrey not to worry because he would pay for the settlement. Jeffrey said he had no intention of doing any harm to you. He didn't even know he was being used, and he was so eager to go and see you. Poor Jeffrey. He thought that he could be together with you. He's just too sweet, which really makes me want to laugh out loud. You're such a jerk. You can say what you want. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. At first, I was going to charge you with adultery. But that's too much trouble. Just divorce Kenny as soon as possible. I don't want to wait any longer. You don't have to pay me any more money, so just get out of my life. When Megan contacted me, a chill ran down my spine. I felt as if I were frozen by her curse. It was all planned. I have no trust in my husband anymore. He is more of a stranger to me now. I'm afraid to stay in the marriage any longer, and I don't want him to come up with another nasty plan. I decided to consult an attorney immediately. I was confused with a mix of anger and disappointment. Once I realized that it was a setup, I completely switched myself to an anger mode. I swear that I will not be defeated. Let the war begin from here on. What do you think you're doing, Rose? It's so obvious, isn't it? What you tried to do to me. I'll never forgive you. You have to take responsibility as an adult. I didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't do anything directly to me. You knew about the plan, so it's the same thing. This whole thing has hurt me a lot. I've been scared. That's why I'll make you pay for the alimony. But your brother is going to ask for alimony too because he's divorcing me. I can't pay that much. Don't you dare say that to me. You're still married and you're responsible for hurting my brother's feelings. I also gave him the screenshot of the messages I had with you. You'd better admit it soon, Megan. You don't like waiting, do you? You're the worst thing ever. That's why you're dumped by Kenny. I know, I'm not stupid, so maybe I was too smart for Kenny. But to be honest, I'm grateful to you for giving me the opportunity to divorce my husband like that. Thank you, Megan. You and Kenny are a perfect match. I know it's going to be hard to pay for the alimony from now on, but you and Kenny are capable to do that together. Wait a minute. I'm not finished talking with you. You must drop your lawsuit against me. The alimony from Kenny is enough. You don't have to take it from me too. Hey, don't ignore me. Say something, Rose. Please. That terrible plan was exposed. Kenny and I, Megan and my brother were able to divorce rather easily. My brother and I sued Kenny, Megan, and Jeffrey for alimony. The three of them kept blaming each other. They showed no signs of remorse for what they had done. They are really shabby people. The attorney thought they were malicious and demanded a substantial amount of money for compensation. If they did not comply, they would go to court and content certified letter will be sent to each company they are working for. With this, Kenny and Jeffrey gave up easily and paid the fee. Megan, who was a housewife, had no way to pay the fee, so she was complaining, but her parents shut her up. Kenny was blamed so badly by my parents, his younger brother, and his own parents, and when he came to my parents' house to write the divorce papers, I was surprised to see that he was like a zombie. But both my parents and my brother say they have no intention of forgiving Kenny. Of course, neither do I. It seems that Megan told Kenny to marry her, but Kenny's parents were against that. It seems that Kenny, who's fed up with all the lecturing from his parents, did not defend Megan and turned her away, saying that he would not marry her. I have returned to my parents' house and am regaining a peaceful life. After what happened, my brother and I were depressed for a while. But both of us were glad that we realized the true nature of Kenny and Megan at an early stage before we had kids.